All right. What's up, guys? We are on another episode of the Laugh Podcast. We got my co-host, Dom, as always.
How you doing?
And we have a very special guest today, Raelynn.
Hey, hey.
So nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
You are so talented. I'm obsessed with all of your songs. You have no idea.
Thank you.
Yes,
okay, I love it.
She's a very talented singer. For anybody who doesn't know, you should know because this girl's songs are amazing.
Thank you.
I would love to just start from way back in The Voice days.
Voice days.
So what made you want to go on The Voice? Like, did you just randomly be like, I'm going to try out for this? Did somebody convince you?
Yeah. So the reason why I liked The Voice other than American Idol or X Factor or any of the other shows is because I felt like the singers on American Idol and especially the X Factor, they were like Mariah Carey, like, you know, crazy range, crazy, like just powerhouse vocalist. And even though I've kind of found my voice, I always felt like my voice was more unique and more stylistic. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to win a show like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm not. And I'm more of an art, like, I'm not saying that they're not artists, but you get what I'm saying. There's just a difference in singer.
I get you.
And so the one thing that made The Voice so appealing to me was the fact that they looked for just different voices as well as the powerhouse vocalist. And I, at a young age, I was like, okay, this is whatever this is, like, that's what I want to do. And I had no idea what would come of it. Yeah. I was just like, okay, well, I love Blake Shelton and I love country music, so hell, let's go for it. Yeah. And I've always been just real fearless, and I was just like, okay, like, what can they do? Say no, and I'll continue to do what I do and put out music and, you know, put songs on YouTube. Well, I didn't put out music at the time, but put songs on YouTube and stuff. And then I ended up auditioning, and it ended up happening, which was wild to think.
So when you audition and they do the whole chair turnaround thing, what do they call them? Like the coaches or?
Coaches. Well, there's 3 auditions before you get to the coaches. So you have like the cattle call, and then you have like where you're in front of the casting people. And then you're in front of Mark Burnett, who is the, you know, writer of the show. I mean, Mark Burnett's amazing. And so that was probably the most scary to me one that I did, because it was like you're like in this room and it's all the producers of The Voice.
It's like you're this close.
In LA. You're this close. And I remember when I got out, Carson Daly was out there because he was the host for the show. That. And Carson was like, "You killed it, Ray." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's Carson Daly. This is awesome." Because me and my brother used to watch MTV growing up. So it was like, I grew up. And, but I felt, and then I'll never forget, I was going to the bathroom and we were waiting for the shuttle to take us back to the holding area after the producer audition, and Mark Burnett was passing me by the bathroom, and he said, "That was really a wonderful audition. I'm really excited for you." And I was like, "Thank you." And I was like, "I think this means I'm going to make it to the next round." And so, but the way that the blinds work is they had 4 days of audition. So there was 120 of us that made it to the blind audition, which is where the 4 coaches are. And I was on, so the first day they call like 30 artists that are going to be on that filming day. And I didn't make it the first day, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. Because if you're on the 4th day, the teams might already be filled, you know? And so, but the second day they called my name, and then that's when, what'd you say?
So do you just like hang out and hope that they call you? Like,
so you're just like literally in a big conference room, and you're waiting for them to call you to tell you what day you're filming.
Wow.
And so when they tell you that, so like the first day, 120 of us were in the room, and they called 30 people, and they're like, "Okay, your audition's tomorrow." And then the next day we went in, and they were like, "Okay, your audition's tomorrow." So it was like, it was very, very wild. And it, on TV, it made it seem like Adam turned and then Blake turned right away. But Adam turned within the first 4 words of me singing, Adam Levine. And then Blake turned quite a bit later, which I give him tons of shit about. So.
And you ended up picking Blake, right?
I ended up picking Blake. Because he's funnier.
Also more of a fit musically,
It was definitely more of a fit musically. I really did appreciate all the kind things that Adam said. And I took him to heart. And he is such a good person. And he's been such a champion, even over the last 10 years, and he's a good dude, but I think I made the right decision.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you like picked him? Do you feel like picking him was almost like a testament to your country roots and being like, I'm a country artist?
Oh, absolutely. I knew I wanted to sing country music. I knew my dad took me every single year as a kid to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and that's where I fell in love with country music. And I'm like, I don't want to be any other artist but a country artist. Like,
so you grew up in Texas, right?
Yes.
Did you
Baytown?
Baytown, is that like a little bit more rural? I don't know. I know
Well,
Texas pretty well, but...
So Baytown is outside of Houston, and there's another country artist that's from Baytown. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me eventually. It's an older artist. Baytown it's not a small town, but it's not
a big
huge.
Town.
It's 70,000 people though. It's pretty big. But it's a lot of chemical plants like Bayer, ExxonMobil. So it's a lot of blue collar, hardworking people. Most of the people that work there, work at the plant. And so I mean, it's definitely, and there's the surrounding cities, I would say, like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it was a big melting pot. It wasn't, there's so many different people that live in Baytown. But yeah, it's definitely changed a lot though since I've been there. It's gotten really big.
So when did you move to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville in 2012.
Okay.
So right after The Voice was over, before it had aired, I was already coming back and forth to Nashville to write. And then I moved end of 2012.
Nice.
So the show aired top of 2012, and then I ended up moving in May.
How do you like it here? I just need to know.
I love it.
I'm trying to convince him to move here, and it's a struggle, girl. I'm like,
where do y'all live at?
So we live in LA.
Okay.
But his family's all here. His mom's side of the family moved here. And so,
why wouldn't you want to live here?
So I like it here.
He needs a Sprouts and a Whole Foods like a mile away.
I'm big on good food, which you guys have good food.
We have Sprouts and we have Whole Foods. Why are we being dramatic?
I'm not saying we don't, but I do like the weather there. Even though it has been a little more rainy the last year or two. And also work-wise, it's a little better for me. I model and I have a couple businesses, and I travel for modeling all the time, but it is a little more convenient. So I'm like almost there.
I'm trying so hard to convince him, and like that's why I'm like, every single person who has moved here, I need them to give their testament to how much they love Nashville so that he gets it.
Honestly, California weather is awesome. I just think what makes Nashville so special is the people.
Yep.
I think the difference in the people here in LA is, I feel like in LA there's a lot of competition.
So much.
And I remember I did acting for a little bit, and I would do like, different auditions, and I would sit in those rooms and everybody just stared at you like they hated you. And I'm like, can we be buddies? Like, I'm just over here like, hey, I'm just here to do my job, And so one thing that I love about Nashville is I really do believe everybody's rooting for each other. Mm-hmm. And if there is a bad apple in the mix, people, they get ruled out. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like people really do want to see you succeed. And the connections that you make are genuine. Yes. And that's why I really like this town. And people are just so kind. They want to help you. They want to help you apart. And that's why I've been here for, going on 13 years.
You honestly said it perfectly, because I was born and raised in LA. Yeah. I don't have any family there. It's a long story. My mom's family's in Ohio. My dad's family's in New York. But I've always mainly been there, started pursuing acting and music as a young kid. And I always felt like it's so competitive. Yeah. Everybody's a gatekeeper in LA. Yeah. I came to Nashville and I worked here for 3 days, and I worked with producers who used to live a mile from me in LA. And it took me having to come here for somebody to introduce me to them. And I'm like, you know a bunch of people I know in LA. Why didn't anybody introduce me to you there? Yeah. Now I'm across the country and I'm meeting somebody who literally lived 2 miles from me for 10 years. And he's a producer I work with. But that's what I love about it here. I feel like everybody's so supportive, and it's just great for networking and music too. I'm obsessed. But music, let's talk about your music, because girl, first I just got to say,
listen to it the whole way here.
I listen. Well, also your music just speaks to me, like every song, and I'm an emotional person. Not the best music to listen to if you're trying to do your eye makeup. It really is not. Not all of it. Because I literally was trying to do my eye makeup on the way here, and I'm like, I'm about to cry on every single song. I'm like, this is not the right stuff to listen to right now. But I just love how you're such a great storyteller.
Thank you.
It's amazing, because a lot of songs, I've done hip hop for a long time, and like, you know, a lot of hip hop stuff is like really like the catchy beat, the catchy this, and it's all about like catchiness. But like that's what I love about country, more of the storytelling, and you are amazing at it.
Thank you.
I just like the song Love Triangle. I mean,
thank you.
I'm gonna cry now. Like I'm like I gotta not be emotional, but like coming from, you know, my parents were never married. Like they didn't talk for many years of my life, and so just hearing songs like that are like so relatable. I seriously love your music, and I feel like you speak to so many different people who need almost that song to just get the emotions out. You know what I'm saying?
No, I thank you, and I appreciate that. Love Triangle is definitely one of my top 5 songs that I've released, and that's a great example of songs connecting to fans. I think sometimes, you know, different people in the industry will tell you to sound like this, do this, look like this. But if you do what's authentic to you, your fans will find you. And when I wrote Love Triangle, I was a little nervous that it was be a little too personal, and would it connect on a bigger scale, and it did, because if you weren't a child of divorce, you know somebody that's been through it. And honestly, you don't even have to have divorced parents to relate to Love Triangle. I had a fan come up to me, and she, you know, her parents were married, still married, and she's like, but they just didn't love each other. And I felt like I was in a love triangle in my own home. And it's just like, I really do believe that music can heal. And I really do believe that as an artist, what's going to make you different is you singing what makes you different, because your story will relate to somebody else. And I'm so grateful for that song, and it healed me in so many ways. I believe in therapy in so many. I got a wild history, but music and songwriting has always been very therapeutic for me, and I won't officially get over something or move on until I've written about it. It might not see the light of day, but I have to write about it for me to feel that closure. And I felt like my parents' divorce was always kind of like a monkey on my back of how I handled it, and Love Triangle was the best way to put to words into a song of the way my childhood felt. And it's not that it was all bad.
Yeah.
It just wasn't all good. But it was like, and I always like to say this, because even though Love Triangle was, you know, the way I grew up, there was so much love in my home. Like, kids really are so resilient. Like, you couldn't have told me in that moment that I didn't have the best life ever. Yeah. It's just as I got older and I got married and I started getting into a relationship with somebody, you love like you've been loved. And I had to kind of reevaluate the way that I was handling certain situations because of what I saw. Yeah. And that's when I kind of like just had to do a deep dive of like, okay, I can either stay stagnant or I can grow. And hopefully I'm growing. So,
well, let's talk about that too. So we both have little girls.
Yeah.
How old is your little girl?
She'll be 4 in September.
Okay. Okay. She's Virgo?
I don't know what she is.
September what?
September 8th.
Okay, she's a Virgo.
She's wild.
We're both Virgos.
She's wild.
So she's gonna be a feisty one.
That's good.
Because I'm a Virgo girl. So it's funny. Virgo girls were definitely a little bit more sassy. Got like more like, you know, just more energy. Virgo guys, very chill, very laid back.
Very
it's
different.
like two different signs almost. But I have a little girl too, 2.5, and I feel like as an artist too, that's what I would love to ask you. Like, do you feel like as a mom too that now there's even more that you need to write about and like have your daughter hear these songs telling her your story, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I think, first of all, don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't chase your dreams and be a mom. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest lie that I kind of believed, but I didn't fully believe, obviously, because I have a baby, is that you can't do both. And Daisy has only made me a better songwriter, a better performer, and a better artist. And I really do believe that women can do it all. And with a baby on our hip. And I feel like my sense of purpose now is just greater, because when I leave her, I know that what I'm doing means something. I'm not just going to, Lilac and go, shopping or whatever and kill time. Like, I don't even know what I did before I had a kid. You ever think that? You're like, what did I do with my freaking time?
I used to always be like, there's not enough time in the day. And I'm like, what? There was plenty of time before I had this baby. What was I talking about?
I know, but it's true. But it's like, but when you leave, you make sure that time's intentional. And I feel like, and I'm sure you feel the same way when you're away from your baby, your time is so precious when you're away that you're going to make sure that every opportunity is going to be an opportunity worth living, and you're going to make sure you're doing the things that you need to do to figure out, what are next steps for my career or vice versa. But she has changed my songwriting so much. I'm definitely still a little bit of a wild child, but I
love that same.
I am. But, I wrote a song called Made for Me to Love, which is about her. I've written some really cool songs that I'm really excited about that are on this next project. But I think the biggest thing that me and my husband want to instill in Daisy is that you were you were meant to be our child, and you were going to go with us. And like sometimes, I have to go to like a meeting or something and I don't have a nanny, and I'm like, all right, you're coming with me. But
we were about to bring the baby today. Yes. So I love that you said that.
No, but it's true. It's like, you are always welcome to be in my space because you're my baby. And there is never a place where you're not welcome. Yeah. And I don't want her to think that it's my job and then it's her. No, she is a part of my life. She is my kid. She's my husband. Like, she is our life. And like this weekend, she has her own little bunk with her own little zipper and all the things, and she'll be out with me this weekend. And because she is my family, she is a part, and and I want her to see her mom and her dad do what they love, so that way she chases her dreams and does what she loves. And I think that is so important.
And we feel the same way. Like, everything we do, Bowie's with us. Unless it's just a situation where it's just going to be so
crazy,
impractical.
Yeah.
It's like, I like her to be with us. And I also feel like that's good for your kids to see, because I feel like a lot of kids are so separated from their parents' professional lives that they grow up and they haven't actually learned anything from watching you do things, because you went to work, they don't see you come home, they don't even know anything about what you do or what your life is really like outside.
And I think that there's
house.
a protection there, right? You protect them. Our job as parents is to protect, but I think it's also the only way they're going to learn is by seeing and hearing and feeling and all those things. And I think it's important. Y'all are doing it right.
Thank you. No, and it's funny you brought up, like, I used to do hip hop music. I had a baby and I was like, I can't be doing this ratchet stuff no more. I'm like, I want her to hear songs that I want her to sing, you know? And that's changed me so much. I grew up listening to all music. My dad was a DJ, but really having her, it made me just rethink everything. And I'm like, my number one song's called Alcoholic. I made it as a joke, partying, but I'm like, do I really want Bowie to listen to those type of songs? Like, no. And I think that it makes you just almost a better artist in a way. I feel like if a child and a grandma and somebody out partying at the club can all listen to the song and love it, like,
it's a good song.
That's a good song. Yeah. And that's where I want to be, doing that type of music. And I'm such, like, I give you kudos for doing how you do it, because like you said, you're a little bit of a wild child. We hear that in some of the songs.
That, but
we love that.
You can do it with class.
Exactly.
I think you can do it with tact.
Yep.
And honestly, it makes you be more creative. Yeah. Like, listen, girl, I still do cuss in a few of my songs, okay? But, I'm working on a Christmas project right now.
Nice.
And I was like, I do really want this Christmas project to, like, be pretty clean. Like, because I want Christmas, to me, it's such a, like, it's a holiday season. Everybody's getting, I did release a song called Jingle Bell Drunk years ago, which I still love. But I'm like, for this project, I was just like, I want everybody to be able to listen to it and not have to stress about it.
Yeah.
And now listen, I am talking about putting a little shine in eggnog, but it's like there's little oats here and there, but it's like, but it makes you think outside the box a little more. And it's good. It's good.
Well, we live in, like, an age of the social media era where it's like you got to do something outrageous just to, like, get someone's attention for 5 seconds, and everyone's always kind of pushing the boundaries of, like, trying to be more raunchy or more crazy or, like, whatever. So how do you maintain just being true to yourself as an artist, as a human being, when you kind of have these outside pressures of being like, maybe you should do this crazy thing, to get attention?
Well, I am naturally a little crazy. I think all women are. But I don't have to dress a certain way or do a certain thing to, you know, enhance my personality that God's given me. Mm-hmm. I think you can, you know, I do like wear super short shorts and all those things and tight clothes or whatever, but I have my brand. And I think, you know, I've been very adamant about like what I wear and stuff like that. But I couldn't, especially being a mom, I couldn't imagine like taking it to the next level, because it's just like, then what makes me different? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, nothing. You know, so I think you got to figure out what's true to you. And there's always going to be another thing. There's always going to be somebody you can try to outdo or whatever. But that's why you got to literally hone in and figure out what makes you you and stick with that. I mean, Billie Eilish wears massive shirts and shorts on stage. And I wish that was my brand, because it would be so much easier to style. Okay. I mean, I am wearing a big t-shirt right now, but I'm just like, you know, and so I think, you know, if you always think about trying to keep up with somebody, that is so last
exhausting.
It is exhausting. Just don't do it.
So you're on tour right now with Jason Aldean,
Jason Aldean,
right?
yes.
And that's what you're talking about, bringing the baby on tour right now? Oh my gosh. I'm like, how is that? Because I remember touring before I had a baby, and I haven't toured yet with the baby. So I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this.
Kids are so resilient. She's so great. She loves the bus. She's already has her bus legs.
That's
like
so
she like
cute.
moves and stuff. But you know, we just figure out some fun adventures every day. If it's running around the arena or running outside, a lot of these beautiful amphitheaters we're playing. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll try to like find like a zoo or a park or a jump house place to take her when we're touring in like the winter. Mm-hmm. But it's fun for me because I do have a childlike heart. I love doing stuff like that. I love taking her to kids. I love having a child because now I don't look like the weird kid at the kids park. Like I get to be a child again. All the time. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
I don't know if they have. So I know they have one out here that I've taken Bowie to. They have those like indoor playgrounds here.
Oh yes.
I'm always like all up in the slide, crawling through. Sometimes the kids will start like playing with me like I'm like the nanny of the place, and I'm like, no, I just like to play up in here with Bowie.
Yeah, but it's like I love doing that, and she just makes the road so adventurous. Yeah. And then sometimes, and she really is super versatile. Like there's some days like we're super busy and she'll just, you know, but we have like Jenga, like a fun Jenga game for her to play. She has like a little golf set. She has a little 4-wheeler that we put on the trailer. So she has all her little things that she has on the road too, which is fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's so
love
cute.
That.
It's cute.
No, I mean, to your point though about kids being resilient, and then what you were talking about earlier, it's so crazy how like we think about our baby's life and we're just like, dude, she's got a house in LA and Miami and like she's got like, and she goes to her grandma's house in Tarzana, and like she just has all these things. It's like literally
she's gonna grow up thinking it's normal to have like all these places to live.
Yeah, also like we were so happy as kids with single parents and in like apartments and like never had the best of anything, and it's just
they are, and crazy. You didn't know any different as a kid.
Yeah,
right.
And I think that's the biggest thing that we can learn from children is like they are happy with anything. Give them a stick and they're happy. If you make it seem cool, they will love it. And that's the truth.
Do you feel like sometimes on the road she almost plays better with her toys?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like whenever she's at home, there's so much stuff. I feel like she gets a little bit overwhelmed, and then we'll be on the road. Yeah. She has a little bit less toys, and I'm like, she's played with that little farm 10 times more on this trip because she only's got a couple things, you know? I think it's actually better for the kids to have a little bit less. It makes me realize that like kids in the 1800s, like you said, they were playing with sticks and stones.
Yeah, they didn't have nothing, and they had their imagination.
Yes, and so that's what I realized. Like having her on the road with us, it's like, oh, they actually play better when they're not overwhelmed with a room full of stuff. You know what I mean?
And I've been like watching, I love watching things on TikTok, but rotating toys is really good. Like putting stuff in a bin, and then it makes your house less cluttered. Yeah. But rotating toys so that way they have something new like every couple weeks. Yeah. That's what I've been doing with Daisy.
Well, this is also why I want to move to Nashville, because we're a little bit crammed in our house in LA. It's definitely clutter central there right now. So we need to just get rid of all of the toys.
We're both like minimal people, and we try our best to have things clean, and it's just she's taken over. We have her, plus
children take over.
We both own different businesses, so like our house just continually accumulates things.
That's why you gotta move to Nashville.
I'm telling you, that's why I'm so happy. I was like, this is another person who can be like, it's great. It's great. You know what I mean? Wait, so I also wanted to ask you, so I saw that you like went through a couple label changes.
Yeah.
And I I know the get down of like, sometimes it can be difficult. Like this label's not doing everything you think. And then you go to the next one and it's like, well, they're not doing this and that. How has it been for you to go from, I know you were with Republic, right? First?
For a little bit. Republic and Big Machine. And then I went to Warner. Mm-hmm. And then I went independent with Tree Vibes, like, which was a smaller label for a second. And then I went fully independent. And then I'm back at Valerie with Big Machine.
So from being with the label and also doing the independent stuff, do you like doing independent more, or what do you think?
I feel like I've grown through every situation. What I loved about my first label, which is the label I'm back with now, is it was all my first. Yeah. And the relationships that I created there were so genuine. I was just really young. I was 18. I was figuring out my sound. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say, figuring out how I wanted to dress. And I didn't really know what that looked like. And I think after you had a few singles at radio, I just was just like, okay, is this the right fit for me for right now?
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was the right fit. And so then I went to Warner and that shoe fit for a little bit and then it didn't. I think the biggest thing that I've realized about the music industry is it's like musical chairs. Yeah. You'll go to a label because you love, this person, and you got to realize they're on a contract and you're not. I mean, you are, but you're there, and then the people that you love could be gone in 6 months. You don't know. And so it was hard for me sometimes to like, I had all these believers and then someone would go this place and someone would go that. I'm like, okay. And then you get new people that you have to get to re-fall in love with you. And you're like, wait, I'm already signed here. I shouldn't have to like make you fall in love with me again. And so the dog and pony show of that was kind of hard for me. I think the biggest thing that I learned being independent is nobody's going to work for you as hard as yourself. And no matter who is around you, you should have all your shit in order to where if somebody does leave, it's like, okay, bye, Felicia. Here's what we're working on. Here's the new person. Let's go. And having a great manager, having a great like just support system outside, like because there's so many things that make an artist. They have a publisher, they have a manager, they have a agent, and it's like, so if one pillar falls, you have all these other pillars to land on. And I feel like with this project, I knew that it was special and I knew that it deserved to go to radio. And I really love Scott Borchetta, and I think he has been such a just staple in my life. Over the last 10 years, we've stayed friends. We've seen each other at parties. And when Boyfriend started taking off on Instagram, on TikTok, one of my songs from my catalog when I first signed to Republic and Big Machine, I was just like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then, so like this song like had a viral moment. And then like, and it got caught up in the Bad Baby Alabama Barker drama. I don't know if you remember all that.
How can I not? I was like, I'm in my 30s. Why is this all on my timeline?
And it's too much. But like literally like, so, obviously Alabama Barker was being accused of messing with Bad Baby's baby daddy. Yeah. It was so dramatic and I loved it. My ratchet ass. Me being from Baytown, I was like, bitch. And so anyways.
I hate to say, I was like, I told him, I couldn't avoid it. But
I was like, how old are they? Like,
why are we so invested in this?
But we were. And so then I wake up to, of course, texts from my little nieces that are like 12 and 13. They're like, oh my God, Alabama Barker posted Boyfriend. And I was like, what? And she was like, basically, I want your boyfriend. I'm not going to allow it. And then she deleted it. Okay. Oh, no. So she deleted it off TikTok. And I was like, shit, I got to find this video because whatever. So I look, and of course, somebody screen recorded it and posted it. So then I saved it and then I posted it. And I didn't realize that they were insulting her. Like on the video, they said Arkansas posted this, and they were being me because her name's Alabama, and so they were calling her Arkansas. Oh my gosh, okay. And so I reposted it, and so everybody was like, I knew Ray would be Team Bad Baby. I was like, I don't even know what team I'm on right now. I don't even know what the drama is. And then I found out, I was like, okay, I am Team Bad Baby because that's kind of messed up. Yeah. And so then the song like blew. I mean, it was like we had over like 80,000 videos made. It was nuts to Boyfriend. So thank you.
That's what I need to do. I'm like,
and she reposted me, and I was like,
song in the beef with the kids,
with the children. But so when that kind of hit, me and Scott were just kind of laughing about it. And then he had heard about the new music that we were working on. And so I went and I played it for him. And I was like, all right, this is like, when I walked back in, it felt very like, is it serendipitous? Is that the right word?
Yes, that is the right word.
Is that the way you say it?
It's one of them. It's
my
one of them.
My redneck way. It felt when I walked back into those doors, you know, that feeling could either be very icky or very positive and magical. And when I walked in, it was so positive and felt like, okay, this is full circle and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Before I even played a song. And then we played the project, and as a 31-year-old married woman with a baby, walking back into a situation from when I was 18 years old, figuring it out, just moving to town, it just felt super cool. Yeah. And I can't just even say how excited I am to be back there, because I mean, all of the people there that I loved and had a relationship with, they're still there. I mean, and so to be able to come back and finish what we started feels really magical. I'm very, very, very excited about it.
And you probably have a little bit more creative freedom.
Oh, now, absolutely.
Because that's what I feel like.
Because I'm not afraid to, I think when you're 18, 19, you don't know what's cool. You don't know. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, of course I'm going to lean on what people want to say. But at the end of the day, what I say goes. And I'm going to be like, listen, I'm passionate about this. But I wouldn't be a great collaborator if I didn't listen to the people around me.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between listening
and being
and
told
controlling.
And exactly.
There's two differences. And I will say this process has been very collaborative.
I love that.
It's very positive.
And what's the new project called?
It's called Long Live Country Music. So it's gonna be great.
And do you have a release date for that yet?
We are working on that right now.
Okay,
so
cool.
yeah.
So before we had a baby, we had more space. I used to have a Christmas tree upstairs because I have a 3-level house, one on the middle level, and then one downstairs. And people be like, "Why do you have 3 trees?"
Because I want to see a tree wherever I go.
Exactly. I'm like, if I'm upstairs, I want one there. If I'm here, I want
one
here.
That's how I feel. Like we kind of have like 2 living rooms. We have like a den, and then and I was like, Josh was like, "Why do you have one in the theater room?" I was like, "Because we watch movies in there, and I want to watch a Christmas movie and see a tree to the left." Like that's just the way it works.
No, that's literally her criteria when we look at houses is the closet and where's the Christmas tree go?
No, so we also don't have the best space for a Christmas tree in our house, and I never thought about that when I looked at the house. I looked at the house in April or whatever, and so now every time I'm like, where's the spot? Okay, perfect. There's a spot for the Christmas tree by the fireplace, or nope, this place doesn't have a spot for the Christmas tree. We need a good window or something. Like that's literally what I look for in a house.
My favorite tree that I bought last year for our theater room, it has a Patriot mode where it's like straight red, white, and blue. And I'm like, we should keep this damn thing up all year. Okay? Like green,
red, for 4th of July, for Memorial Day, like for Veterans Day, for
everything.
All the holidays.
Everything.
That's so great, dude. I love that. So I also wanted to ask you, this is a random question. So I know when you got on The Voice, I'm not the best with my voice timeline. I know you came out singing a Miranda Lambert song, right?
Yeah.
Is this before Blake and
so they were together when I was on The Voice.
They were still together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I just wanted to know that. So were you?
It
was Gwen on? She came on after.
No,
that,
she was
right?
way after me.
Okay.
So when I came back to sing God Made Girls, she was on The Voice and she was just precious. But at that time, they were already split up.
Okay, got it. I was like, I just had to know a little bit of the.
And that was, I mean, and she Miranda was she still is such an inspiration to me. I mean, I grew up, watching the CMT countdown, and I remember the first song I heard was of hers was Me and Charlie Talking, and Hicktown by Jason Aldean, and that's where I found my love for country music. And I think Miranda is she's such a talented artist.
She's so talented.
She really is.
It's funny. So as a kid, I grew up listening to a lot of No Doubt, Gwen Stefani. That was actually
Gwen's the best.
First CD I ever bought as a little girl was No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom. And growing up, I always wanted to be Gwen Stefani, and it's funny.
Of course you did.
I've been getting into country lately and singing country. I've really found my voice is actually more fit for country, and so I did a post and I got some. I ruffled some feathers because I made my caption, when I did the Miranda Lambert cover, I said, growing up, I wanted to be Gwen Stefani, but it turns out I'm a little bit more like Miranda. Oh my gosh, the comments were crazy. They were like, so are you team Gwen or are you team Miranda? I was
Nobody
like,
cares.
I was like, I didn't know this is a thing that I have to pick a team. I was just trying to make a quirky caption, you know?
Don't you love it when quirky captions just completely backfire on you? That's happened to me multiple times.
This is I wonder if you have this problem too. So sometimes I'll go to like come up with a cool caption and I'm like, this is a better song lyric. Let me go put that in my notes. And then I never have good captions because I saved them all to put in a song.
That's okay though. I the first time I met Gwen, because I remember loving her Harajuku brand. Like I was obsessed with Gwen. And I've always been obsessed with like fashion and quirky fashion. I love, and she's just she is a style icon. I don't think you could get somebody who is so unique, and she stayed that way. And when she like had her Harajuku perfume and all that stuff, I was so obsessed with all of it. And I told her about like the first time I met her, I think I was in my early 20s. And I said, oh my gosh, I bought your Harajuku shoes when I was like 13. And she was like, oh. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have said that. I don't make you feel old. She was like, but she truly is such a delight. Her and Blake came to my wedding, me and Josh's wedding. And my favorite thing about them is they stayed the whole night. They danced. They left at the very end when we got in the limo. Like they didn't just come in and be seen and stay for a little bit. No, they stayed the whole time to celebrate us getting married. And I really do think the world of them.
I'm jealous. I'm like, you had Gwen Stefani at your wedding.
I mean, if you would have told little 13-year-old Harajuku wearing girly that she was to have Gwen Stefani at her wedding, she would have told you were freaking crazy. Yeah. Like it was really special.
That's so dope. I love that story. And it's great to hear that Gwen's so down to earth like that. Because I've heard that from a few people. You can just kind of tell. I mean, and I think that artists like her, that's why they have so much longevity, because they're nice people. They're good people
and she always like asks how Daisy's doing. She like, I'll never forget, we were backstage on The Voice. And this was, I think, before her and Blake maybe even were dating. And she pulls up in a freaking minivan with her kids. I'm like, you are a rock star, bro. Like,
I love
she was just so, she's just so normal. And that's why, and that, you know, when you're a normal person, people always want to cheer for you. Yeah. And they're really good together. I love them together.
Love that. So can I ask you, as you know, we're talking about now people we grew up listening to, when you were a little girl, who do you think was like your biggest influence to get you into doing music?
Oh my gosh. I had a few. I think I was obsessed with Dolly Parton, obviously. I loved all kinds of music. Yeah, I mean, same. I listened to Alan Jackson, I listened to the Dixie Chicks, I listened to Miranda, Gwen Stefani, Beyonce, being from Houston,
especially because right out of Houston,
Coldplay, gospel music. Yeah. So like, I didn't just have, but I was rooted in country music, and obviously, like that's what I sang most of the time. But I loved all kinds of music. When I could figure out how to make a mix CD and have like a different playlist where I didn't have to like listen to one artist the whole time, it was like the best day ever. Like I was burning CDs all the time.
Same.
And so I don't know if I could pinpoint exactly one person. I think somebody that I've always just really looked up to for an overall career is Gwen Stefani. I mean, not Gwen Stefani. Well, she is in that field too. Yeah. But Dolly Parton and like Reba McEntire, because they both have had clothing lines. They've had they've done acting. They've done music. They've just done it all. Yeah. And they've done it with class. And I think that there's something to be said about that.
I know. I just heard about, like, I guess if your baby's born in Nashville, don't you automatically get like the books from Dolly or something?
Yes, Imagination Library.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I heard I can sign up for it. So I'm not.
We just heard about.
Yeah, we just heard about it because we're like, cute. What? So Bowie can't get them because she wasn't born here, but I guess you can sign up for it. So you guys get those too?
Yes. Oh my gosh, and Daisy loves her books.
That's so cute.
They're so cute.
I love
because Dolly wasn't able. She didn't have books growing up because they couldn't afford them. Yeah. So when she started Imagination Library, she was like, I never want a kid to be able to not have the chance to read and to learn about, you know, life and books and stuff like that. So I thought that was so precious. That. She's incredible.
She's like the sweetest person ever. I don't even know her, and I feel like I do just from all the interviews I've seen and everything.
She really is.
I have to tell a funny joke though real quick. Yeah. Because everybody loves it. What do you call the sweat in between Dolly Parton's boobs?
What?
Mountain Dew.
Oh my God.
Everyone loves it.
Okay, that's good.
You got to spread it around.
And she's from the Smoky Mountains, which is even better.
My mom has
the Twin Cities. All right, that was funny. Okay.
No, my mom has huge boobs, and I think my mom made that joke up because she used to tell it all the time. I'm like, Mom, stop telling that joke, but now I tell it all the time, and people love it. So
oh yeah,
it's a mom joke that worked.
Well,
for
her
me.
boobs come in before she does. You know what I mean? Like she's just
literally.
I loved my favorite thing is when she did the Dallas Cowboys thing, the cheerleader, and she had the cheerleader outfit on with her stomach showing, and all the like young guys posting "Hear me out," ... and I was like, y'all are be wilding out, like
no, because she looks
and
amazing.
all of it. I made all the guys answer if they would hook up with Dolly, and every one of them said yes.
I mean, she looks great. Like she
does.
How old is she? She's got to be like 60s, in her 60s, right?
No, she's in her 70s.
Wow.
She's
Oh
78 or 79. Yeah,
she looks so good. Like honestly,
she's so great.
Like
she might be in her 80s. I don't know. We need to look that up.
If she's in her 80s, then I need her whole regimen.
Yeah.
What are you eating, drinking, vitamins? I need all of it.
She's
because Dolly, you look amazing. Literally. And also I love your boots, by the way.
Thank you. They're a brand called Petite Paloma. They're a smaller brand out in Texas.
Well, we're shouting them out because you said we need the.
No, I love Petite Paloma. They are absolutely. I mean, all the boots, mostly the boots that I wear on stage. Unless it's like a really specific look or petites. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Thank you. And they make every look a little elevated. Which is great.
Yeah. No, it's like I feel like a good pair of boots is like what you really need in country music. And now that I'm doing country, I know I've always liked cowboy boots though. I was wearing them when I was rapping, and I swear I started a trend where like all these rapper girls started wearing cowboy boots. I'm like, I know I started that. It was when I went to Texas actually, and I wore some little Fendi cowboy boots. Everybody went and got them after me, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? I'm the only one who's brave enough to mix cowboy boots with like a snapback, you know. But that's what I love about your style too. Like I feel like we have a similar style. I love mixing things like that, like mixing the boots with the snapback or putting a cowboy hat with some J's, you know. I really love your style.
Thank you. Thank you.
Had to give a shout out on that.
I'm now like, obviously I've been in Tennessee, so I'm a Tennessee fan now. I mean, my dad's from Louisiana. He's a coon ass, so I've always like gone to LSU games. Yeah. But I told Dad, I was like, listen, I'm a married woman now. I got to go to Tennessee. You know, I got to go. I got to change it up a little bit. Yeah. But as long as they're not going against each other, I'll go for LSU still.
For sure. So what's our timing really quick? So I know, so I don't over talk.
No, we're good. We got another 25 minutes.
Oh, dang. We're doing
what time
good.
Is it?
You're a good talker, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
We like this.
Thank you.
When's your birthday?
My birthday's May 4th.
Do you know what sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Okay, you're a Taurus. Oh, okay. So we're supposed to get along really good. Virgo, and that's why you're going to have a great relationship with your daughter, too.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited about
Because let me tell you, me and my mom, we bump heads. The astrology was
They're
not...
like oil and water.
You know, my
it
husband, I don't really know much about signs, but I think my husband's a Scorpio.
Okay, our baby's a Scorpio.
Yeah.
So that Taurus actually does go good with Scorpio. Taurus goes good with Virgo as friends. We make a really good friend pair.
When's your birthday?
September 1st.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I just like...
You're like, I just know my sign.
But when my friend tells me something, I'm like, oh, cool, great. You know? That's awesome.
Way. I know like a
just
couple
tell me if we like each other, you know?
Right.
It's just, I started to pick up, like, I started to ask people so much because a couple people, I'm like, y'all are both real dramatic. Oh, you're both Cancers? That makes sense. And then like I started to just pick up on how some people just, and that's when I got more into astrology. I'm like, there's got to be something about this because so many people that are this sign act this way, or so many people that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you're definitely a Taurus from what I know, very chill, just like.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they like to eat and I like to eat, so that's about as much as I know.
Taurus are really creative too. Makes sense.
A little wild.
A little wild. Yeah, because
very loyal. I know that.
Yes, Taurus is very Taurus.
Like if you mess with people that I love, I will kick your ass.
Yep. Yeah. How long have you been with your husband?
Been married for almost 10 years.
Wow, really? Mm-hmm. So you got together young.
We started dating when I was 18 and he was 21. We broke up for a little bit and then we got back together and got married when I was 21 and he was 24.
Wow, that's so amazing.
And he is truly I mean, he's just the soundboard to my life. I just love him so much. He's such a good dude.
That's great.
Such a good
same
dude.
with this man. He's the.
I almost
shed a tear when you said that. Just thinking about.
When you find a good person, you hold on to him. And I just when I see some of my friends just so upset about just a jackass, I'm like, bro, like if you can't get through a fight like this, you think you're gonna be able to get through a lifetime of marriage? Yeah. Because marriage isn't easy. but you pick your person and you stick it out and you do it. And life comes with a lot of challenges, and you got to figure out, who do I want to walk through those, you know, times with. And when you figure that out, and you can answer it quick, it's like, if it's only that person, then that's your person, you know. But if you think it's somebody else, then that's not your person. And
do you feel like having him has added like some stability to your career and like giving you some structure? Has it helped? Or has it been hard in some ways? What's
been hard is, you know, this career is so taxing and so blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, everything is out in the open. And I would say my husband's more of a reserved guy. If he would literally go live in the woods and be happy. Like, that's just him. But he loves me, which means he loves this. But I feel so grateful. Yeah. But he is super chill. But I think I know what he does for me is, it's like, growing up in a divorced home, growing up, you know, the way that I did, I had to relearn a lot of things and figure out how to love properly, not just him, but everybody around me. And his parents have been married for, I think, 40 years now. Over 40 years.
That's amazing.
And having that example on his side has been so healing for me. And I know that the reason why I'm somewhat sane
right.
Same. He brings
somewhat
all of that
sane
to my life.
is because of the stability and the groundness that his family and him have given to me. So
what do you think?
And Jesus, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
But they are the walking example of what I believe Christ is like, truly loving people and where they're at, helping them grow. You know, we believe in the Lord. Like, we are very much, I met him actually in church. And then we were at the same wedding a couple weeks later. But I remember when I met him in church, I'm like, he's probably going to be too Christian for me. Like, because I love Jesus, but like, I like to have a good time. So, but when I got to know him, I was like, oh, he's actually like cool. Like,
Yeah.
And so I wanted somebody that was like that. And because I grew up in the church, I grew up a pastor's kid. And I've always like, it's always been like, Jesus is top, you know, music, all the things. But I wanted somebody that was normal. I feel like all the guys that were in my youth group and stuff, they were just so spiritual that they were weird. And listen, I'm not saying, I think that we should be different.
Yeah.
Being somebody that's a Christian, I think you should live in a sense of, you know, you're held to a different standard or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like, where's somebody that's like me, that's just, I feel like normal and can talk about normal things, and that like loves God, but also can have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Like, and is not so, like, there's like a scripture where it's like, don't be so spiritually minded that you're no earthly good. Like, and so it's like, I just wanted to find somebody that loved Jesus as much as me and was called to a higher standard, but also like was normal, and that's him. So
I know,
like,
exactly,
he can hang out with anybody. He would love to hang out with you. He is so chill.
Yeah.
No,
like,
I know exactly.
I feel honestly, just from you talking about him, I'm like, they need to hang out. They sound like they'd be best.
And he's like, and I love for him to come to things, because me, I'm bebopping around like a little bumblebee, you know, whatever. He finds that one person to connect with, and then he leaves with a best friend, you know.
Right.
And he is just, he's great. But he's like, he got a full ride to Belmont, went to Belmont for baseball. He played for the Cubs organization for a little bit, threw out his arm, and so he got done with that. But he's an incredible athlete. And then he's in like the financial world, but then he's like woke up one day and was like, "Hey."
I love that you're clearing this up, by the way, because we were confused on Wikipedia. It's like it doesn't say like this progression of what he's done.
Yes. So then he and then he was just like, "Hey, like, I want to join the military and be a Green Beret," and I was like, "Okay, like, let's do it."
Age?
He was 26, so it was about a year and a half into our marriage.
I mean, that's not crazy, but that's just so.
It is crazy.
Dang.
I mean, like, you know, and so then he freaking did it and became a Green Beret. And he's just been like, if he decides he's going to do something, he does it. And he's just, obviously, and that's why I'm like, I don't know what days he's going to be, but she's going to be a damn winner. That's all I can tell you. Like, between me and my scrappy ass and him actually like thinking through things and doing it and making it happen, we have created an unstoppable human being. No, but but he's great. And he's one of 7. He has 5 sisters.
Oh, wow.
A brother. they're all so great. I just feel like I have the best bonus family.
That's amazing to have that big family, because we're both only children. So our poor little Bowie's not going to have very many cousins.
Oh, she will. She'll be fine.
I tell her all my girlfriends, I'm like, that's Auntie Tori, that's Auntie this. That's all my friends are just aunties, you know.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
that's the best.
But
I think about that sometimes, because sometimes having a big family is like not so great if you have crazy people in your family. But if you have like a normal family, I love the idea of like, your aunt's coming over today, your cousin's coming today, like just that sense of community, like anyone's always welcome at the house. Like, and I feel like we both didn't grow up with that as much because we were just had single parents and only children.
But the funniest though, so we were obviously researching you because we were like, we want to know everything about you before we talk to you. I already was very familiar with your music, but it was funny though, because it said that one thing I read, it was like she married her financial advisor, and I said, "Oh, smart girl." And then he goes, "I'm reading that he's an athlete," and then he goes, "Wait, it also says he's in the military." He goes,
"He's done it all! Congratulations! It's all the three."
Dom's like, "Wait, how could he be an athlete and in the military?"
It's like it's like you're doing like the little bubble question: A, military; B, Cubs; C, financial advisor; 4 or C, all the above. All the above.
No, I actually love that though, because we're the same way, like where we just are doing way more than we should be. And like
we're just trying to dabble.
Yeah, like I'll be on set.
I'm good at one thing, and that's entertaining. So I'm a one-trick pony, baby.
No, like, I respect that actually.
But that's not a one-trick pony, because you're good at entertaining in several ways. You know, you're an amazing singer. You said you did a little bit of acting too. Yeah. You're very charismatic and have a great personality. So like, that's not a one-trick pony.
And one thing I've always said though, if I didn't do music, I would be an interior designer. I love design.
Why are we best friends?
Like,
I swear,
I love
everything she says. Doesn't sound like it's like
I just like.
I feel like he's listening to you. Like,
don't let me cut your hair though. Like, I have bangs and I want to cut them so bad right now because they're like hitting my eyes. Like, that's the only thing I hated about getting these damn things. Is I was like, they're gonna drive me crazy, and so. My freaking hairstylist, Tyler, I'm talking to you, decided to go on a damn cruise, and I need my bangs cut. So, but I was thinking about doing hair, but I would make somebody look like a billy goat cheat on their hair. Like, it would not be cute.
Well, at least you can do bangs. I have no forehead. It like my bang would be like those little like 50s bangs where it's just like a little a little piece. Otherwise, it'd be like just a shaggy dog over my eyes. My mom cut my bangs when I was little. Yeah, and they grew out. I have like floppy hair with bangs. Like they just were like I'd jump and they were like boop, boop, like these like floppy bangs, and it took forever for them to grow back out. And my mom was like, "No, we're never gonna cut bangs again."
That's so funny.
My hair takes like 5 years to grow.
No, I'm envious of people that have that one thing that they were just passionate about from birth, and that's like their thing. You know, I just feel like I do so many things because I never had that one thing. I was like, I want to be successful, and just like, what's going to get me there? Whereas some people are like, no, this one day is when I knew that this was going to be the rest of my life. And I feel like
there is something to that,
because there's like a focus to it, and there's like a passion to it that not everyone gets. Not everyone has just like that one thing.
But also that one thing could sometimes lead you to other things. I'm a perfect example. Like, I always was dead set, like, music's going to be my thing. It led me to meeting Rob Deerdeck, a skateboarder, and getting on a TV show. Yeah. Not my plans at all, you know.
But the Lord knows.
But exactly.
And one path leads to another.
Yep.
And one great advice, I don't remember who told me this, because like when I first started wanting to be an entertainer, I was like, I want to act, I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to do this, I want to blah, blah, blah. And I actually wanted to act first. I didn't actually want to sing. Yeah. I wanted it to be something later, but singing was what was working out for me. And I remember like almost feeling defeated that acting wasn't working out for me and singing was working for me. And this woman told me, she was like, if you're working on like 4 recipes at one time and you're, you know, just trying to manage all of it, and they're all going to be done, they're going to taste okay. But if you focus on one recipe, give it your all, finish it. Next recipe, give it your all, finish it. It's going to taste way better and be better. And she was like, focus on what's working for you, and then get the next thing and then add it to. And she was like you would put a meal together. And I like practical things like that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna start the music casserole because that's what's working for me, and then we'll focus on the acting casserole. And then, but it was so true. And so I focused on this, and then a couple years into music, I got asked to be on a Disney show, and I had been in LA for like a year trying to get shit. And I was like, wait, now I'm getting stuff as I'm focused on this. So it was just, you really do got to focus on what you're good at in that moment, and other things will open, but you just got to focus on the thing that's working. And that doesn't make you a failure at the other things. It just makes you smart because you're doing what's working for you.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I try to tell that to Chanel sometimes because she's had a really long, successful TV career, but for some reason it's like an ounce of music success means more to her than a pound of TV success.
Because music's my passion.
Because that's what you're excited about.
The funniest, I'll tell my friends sometimes, I'm like, I'm gonna get that one hit and finally be big. And they're like, Chanel, like, you're famous already. What are you talking about? And I'm like, but I'm not in my head because I haven't got to where I want to be with my music yet. You know what I mean? But that's why I love doing the podcast as well too. This is a great opportunity for me to talk with other artists and hear their story and get feedback and learn from them, you know? So they kind of go hand in hand for me. Obviously I love to laugh too. And you're a great guest because you make me laugh. Some guests don't. Well, no, we should cut that out. But
what?
But no, like, just, you know, some guests aren't as good at talking and being charismatic.
Oh God, I know that. I hate it when I'm like talking to somebody on the phone and they'll be like, question, and then they just stop talking, and then so now I just stop talking too. I'm like, shit. Well, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Like,
no, but it's great though to be like not just an artist, but to also still have the personality behind it, because there are some music artists who you go to do an interview or something like this, and they're not as charismatic. They don't have a lot to talk about, and that's what I love about you. But I can tell by your music too that just the way you write songs and are so deep with the storytelling. I was like, I know she's gonna be a good talker for sure.
I probably talk too much.
No,
well, I can tell that your music comes from like real life. It's not you're not just a musical person. Like, you're telling stories. Your music comes from a very like genuine place of experience. So I could listen to your music and already know that she's gonna have something to say like in a conversation. Whereas some people, you know, some people that are like some rappers or something that are very melodic, where it's just all about like, it's all about making a melody and there's not really a message behind it. There's not really a lot of substance behind it, which is fine because that's great too.
Mumble raps.
Right.
They're
but
very
those
big.
those people aren't as interesting to speak to. So I already knew just from listening to your music there was like a lot of substance behind it.
I have to say too, Heaven is a Honky Tonk, like my favorite song. I mean, I love all your songs.
Heaven is a honky tonk.
But like just this title, I was like, this song is like the illest title, and it's like, and I love that you made a song just with saying heaven's a honky tonk, because it's such a great example of what you were saying. Like, you love Jesus, you love God.
I do so much.
Christianity, but it's like, we could still have fun. We could still party a little bit.
Well, it's like if I was just like, I want a song that's like a barn burner, fun honky tonk song to sing on stage. And if heaven was a honky tonk, what would it look like? What would it sound like? Yeah. And we wrote that song when we were, I call it Redneck Disneyland, Pigeon Forge, where Dollywood is. And I will say there's so many spiritual and like Christian references in my, first of all, throughout all my music, you'll hear that because that's me. But this next project has a lot of it. And, you know, growing up a pastor's kid, like, I knew about the Bible, but I didn't really know the Bible. Yeah. That's why, like, when I moved here, I was like in a very charismatic church where, you know, everybody's falling out in the Holy Spirit, and it was a lot. But I felt like there was no, like, I'm not going to say no, but there wasn't, and maybe I wasn't listening, okay? But there, I felt like when it came to Bible learning, like, just learning the Bible and making it me understand it, that there was just always a disconnect there. Yeah. Like, and when I moved to Nashville, like the church that we went to was so like simple. Like, it was not a bunch of bells and whistles and stuff. Like, they had like the sermon, and like they would have a thing where you could fill in the words, and I just loved that because it was like, I was like, okay, what's the next word gonna be? Like, it was just, and it was so simple, like you would be at school, and like I felt like I learned so much, and I learned so much from being married to Josh. Like, Josh's family read the Bible every night, and they had this, like, you know, they did it every night together as a family, and there were so many things that I thought I knew, and he helped me learn, and then it made me be hungry to learn more, and because I feel like if you don't stand for anything or have anything to fall back on, you could fall for everything. Yep. And so I always wanted to have that to fall back on. But the hook of the song is, if I make it into heaven, it'll be because of you. And I met him at church. But that Sunday, I almost didn't go to church because I had, you know, was a little hungover. and so, like, it's that story. But it's talking about, you know, like your relationship with God, but also like how this person like makes you a better person. And so it's a fun one, but it's those like, but that song came from like a real story and a real situation. And I've always joked, I'm like, if I make it into heaven, it'll be because of him, like, so, that. And then, but that's the one thing, like I was going to probably put that on the caption. I was like, I got to save that for a song.
Exactly. No, I'm telling you, I was like, that's why my captions all suck, because I save it all to put in my songs.
Captions are for the bees, man. It's awful. But I thank y'all for having me. No, I just feel so excited to be here.
You've been such an amazing guest. Like I have to give you an extra shout out on that, because it's one thing, like I said, to be talented at music, but also like to be a great speaker, and
thank you,
and also to be open about talking about Christianity and God. Yeah. And that's something that I feel gets a little, people get a little scared in the entertainment industry to talk about religion, even, I don't want to go too deep here, but I'm curious if you ever had any resistance, maybe like being signed to a major label and then be like, less God, because I swear that's sometimes what I think it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I personally like about being independent, is not anybody like
telling you what to do or say.
Yeah. I had a situation where, I won't get too deep on it, but I noticed when I was about to sign to this label, and I'm happy I didn't end up going there, that I had a couple songs that were very like deep. One was talking about God and angels, and it was like, no, let's do the song that's like completely like just a party song, just and it was very much like they were steering me away from like the more serious music. And I already knew, I'm like, this doesn't feel right, like I really love this. It was such a great song, and I was like, is it because I'm like, it's practically like gospel or something,
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's so great to be in this industry and thriving as also a Christian.
Yeah.
Because you're not making full on Christian music, but it's great to like still be yourself and put little drops of that into your music,
Well, then I wouldn't be authentic. I mean, you see Jelly Roll. I mean, think about Jelly Roll's story. Absolutely wild. Yeah. And his biggest song is with a Christian artist, Brandon Lake.
Yep.
And it's, heartfelt hallelujah. Like, because people they see healing in their brokenness, and they find that.
Yeah.
And it's Jelly Roll, who's been through hell and back and has a story to tell. And I think when any artist, and I said this earlier, like, figure out what makes you different and stick to it, and like, don't change for anybody, because your fans will come to you. You don't want a fan that doesn't want you to be yourself.
Yep.
And all the best artists are the ones that are authentic as hell. And I think that is always what's going to be the thing you can lean, fall back on.
I feel like you make authenticity seem so effortless, though. And I just know from being in the entertainment industry, I've modeled for over 10 years. She's been in TV and music. I feel like authenticity isn't always so easy, because
some people don't know who they are.
Whenever you're trying to take the next step in your career, it's always like, well, what do I need to change about myself to get to that place? Or what do I need to do that these other people are doing?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people probably find it difficult to be authentic in the way that, you are.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to them?
My advice is figure it out. And honestly, like, I think for me, in the times when I wasn't my most authentic, and there was times, like I think back when I'm 18, 19, 20, when I first moved to town, I was my loneliest, my saddest. And I think when you're not living to what, I believe that God's called you to do, and your most authentic self, you're just not going to be happy. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of people, even that might have success, but they've built that success on not being authentic.
Yep.
And they're sad and they're miserable. I mean, I've had friends that have multiple number ones and they're still sad. And that's why I've never rated my success on where I've been on a chart or how many people show up for me. There could be 20 people in a crowd, and I might be like, damn, I wish there was a few more people, but I don't. Those 20 people are going to get the best show that I've ever had, and like my authentic self, I'm going to be me, and hopefully they'll tell 20 of their friends. You just gotta rate. And I think that's another thing that motherhood comes really great, like really comes into play here, is like, I'm not living for anybody. The only really people that I care about and what they think about me is God, my husband, and my child.
Yep.
If I'm doing something that wouldn't please them, then I would be pretty sad. And I think that makes you more authentic. And it's finding something bigger than yourself. And for me, that's my faith. But I I think that'll help you kind of find your authentic place.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
a
love
great
that.
message.
I love that.
Thank you.
Honestly, you're such a great speaker.
You're so sweet.
You are. No, I love it. You have so much personality, but your music, that is your heart and
I can't wait for you to
soul.
hear the record.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear your new record and the Christmas project.
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna be
gonna be
great.
bumping that with all 3 of our Christmas trees.
Yes,
and
with all 3 of our Christmas trees.
literally, we'll be dancing.
Put
around
it
every
in that red, white, and blue mode, baby.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I want everybody watching, you guys, if you have not heard Raelynn's music,
Please check it out.
Go check it out. Every single song is so heartfelt, such a great story. If you want to cry a little bit, go play her music, because I'm the type of person, so much emotion comes out of me when I listen to songs, and that's when I know it's a really, really good song. If I start freaking crying.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I'm done.
All your songs practically make me cry.
Thank you.
The
Don't
party
cry.
ones make me want to go turn up, but then like, the other ones make me just feel.
Well, I appreciate you for really listening to them.
Yeah, no, I love them.
For sure.
I
was driving. I literally got that little feeling in my throat. Like,
Don't choke up. The lump in your throat.
No, I'm telling you, I literally was like, okay, I'm just going to change her for a second because every song's making me cry and I'm trying to finish my eyeshadow. And I kept getting teary eyed.
It's okay. I get it.
We're going to put you back on whenever I wipe off my eye makeup.
Yes, we'll do it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the
so much for
show.
coming.
Everybody check out Raelynn's music, and we'll see you again on the Laugh Podcast.
Bye.